Right. Sorry about that. Good evening and welcome to another session of this DQ Labs E-Meet Your Architecture School. And today we're very happy to have uh, Dr. Jagannathan from KS School of Architecture. I think there's an echo. So let me just do one thing. Are you hearing an echo?
No, it's quite clear for us over here.
All right. Once again, so good evening. We're very happy to have Dr. Jagannath here. Dr. Jagannath, thank you so much for obliging to come over and be here presenting your school, KS School of Architecture at Bangalore. Um, if I could just share my screen right away. So the structure is going to be this way for today's e-meet. We're going to have the philosophy from the head of the institute himself. We're going to hear about the unique features of the school, the faculty, all of that, general scores, ranks, board percentage required to get into the college, the course fees, hostel facilities, and other information that you require, as well as the unique points of the institute why you should consider this school as a school of choice. The general format is going to be a presentation for generally 20 to 30 minutes, followed by a Q&A session. And in between, we'd be asking you 5 new NATA pattern questions. So NATA 2020, the new pattern questions. All right. So totally, this is going to be a 1-hour session, approximately 1 hour. Yeah. So, Dr. Jagannath, how would you like to start? Would you like to start with a video or?
No, we will go ahead with our PPT. We've
Okay.
already kept it on. Yeah.
All right. So, so you can go ahead.
Good evening to all of you. I would like to take this opportunity to thank DQ Lab, their team led by Mr. Umesh, Mr. Dion, and all his colleagues for having invited us on this platform to share the philosophy and strengths of our school, to invite the probable students of the DQ Lab and any other platform who are interested in studying architecture as a student into our school. So welcome and good evening once again to all. Let me start our school. We could start out with our presentation. I'll give you a quick overview in the first slide. No, our school is called K School of Architecture. We are located in Bangalore, the beautiful city. And we having a great campus out over here, beautiful lush green environment. As a philosophy, our school is based on the 3 C's, which we call as culturally appropriate, climatically conscious, and cost effective. We keep these 3 as 3 basic factors in all the processes and approaches of the academic programs that we work on. As a very quick overview, I would move across this sheet that you're seeing right now is our curricular approach. Our curricular approach is essentially student-centric, teaching by dialoguing, hands-on works at the sites, multiple small assignments going beyond the curriculum with model making as a prerequisite. So that will be our essential approach to the curriculum approach. We also have this ultimate level of our architecture program, which is internship and thesis. And we are having our first batch coming for 2015. So we have the first batch getting into our thesis right now. They are completing it and should be taking their Viva very soon. So internship was emphasis on the working outputs and outside the state. We encouraged the students to go outside because as long as they were here in the city, in the school, they had a lot of exposure with a lot of architects and their architectural firms in the city. So we encourage our students to go outside the city so that they get a wider exposure and experience. And at the thesis level, the focus was on context, criteria, and creativity, and the projects trying to shift from the normal standard thesis projects. We also have other activities. As we move into the slides, I will start looking at it into the various details. We can look at the next a slide. This shows the newly constructed campus of ours, the School of Architecture. We were going to move in over here in March. Unfortunately, the lockdown delayed it a little bit, and we should be moving into this campus in another 15-20 days time, maximum by the end of the month. So we are into our new campus and working out over here from here.
Can we just pause it for a minute, please? Can we just pause it? Because he has to log out of Zoom and log in through principal sales email. So principal sales email has to be on this Zoom. This is Natalia's, I think.
Okay. Dion, there's a small error in the transmission. Can you give us a half a minute? We will get out and come back.
In the meantime, I'll just launch a poll just to understand what the
Please.
students are here.
Please,
Sign
please.
on. Sign on.
Yeah.
Sign in through principal because principal is
Please
not
fill in this poll. It'll be interesting just for us to understand who all are attending while we get the technical part of it sorted out. So for all of you who are here, it would be great if you could fill in the poll, answer the poll.
Hello?
Mr. Jagannath, can we
Yes.
start? Are you
Yeah, we
ready?
are ready. We are starting. We are starting. We are okay now.
All right, all right.
Yeah. We'll go back to Yeah, so we will now start. Sorry for that. There was a small technical issue. Actually, there is another webinar going on and organized by our college. We have an architect from a multinational firm giving a talk on symbolism in architecture. And no, so that started clashing. The voice started no overplaying on that. So we had to log out and get back again. Sorry about that technical inconvenience. So we will be moving into this new campus in another few days. And yeah, very quickly, I'd like to start about introduce our trust. It's called as a Kamavari Sangham. It was established in the year 1952 as a non-profit oriented voluntary service organization. It was created with an objective to provide charitable services for the community and the society. And it is headed by a managing committee, which changes in every 3 years. Presently, the managing committee having our president as Shri Y. Ramachandra Naidu, and our secretary is Shri Venkatesh Naidu, and our treasurer is Shri Rukmangada Naidu. So the three of them steer our establishment on a day-to-day basis presently. The Kamavari Sangham runs 4 institutions. The KSGI is having the KSIT, the Institute of Technology. It's an engineering college started in the year 1999. Then the KS School of Engineering Management was started in the year 2011. And previous to that, the first institution which was started by the group was in 1992, the KS Polytechnic. The KS School of Architecture is the youngest baby in the group. We were started in the year 2015. And the KS group in this KS School of Architecture, we have also have smaller babies. I'll come to that as we move into the process. Location wise, we are located in Bangalore on the just off Kanakpura Road. And you can Google us into our location through our website, which is given here, kssa.edu.in. We are pinned on the Google map, and you just need to come out off Kanakpura Road about half a kilometer, and we are into a very nice, quiet, salubrious environment. The KS School of Architecture has been approved by the Council of Architecture with an intake of 40 students, and we are affiliated to the Vishveshwaraya Technological University, the VTU. As on infrastructure, I'll move you through our quick campus tour. This is our new campus, which is about 150,000 square feet of built space with located amongst beautiful gardens inside the campus. As you see, we have a very beautiful, well-located library, staff rooms. The lobby is a very, very open, big space. And we have studio spaces with well-organized furnitures and convenient, good ventilated areas in the spaces. The separate building also has a very huge lobby area where we conduct exhibitions of students' work, invite various kinds of dignitaries and experts, and all other facilities are also accorded in this space. Within the campus, we are sharing another facility of an engineering college, and also in the campus, we have the hostel facility, which is a very new facility which has been created by the management, and it's a very, very well done with a lot of convenient spaces. The rooms are 2-seater rooms with attached bathrooms, well organized and very well facilitated and fitted. We have a lot of sports facilities inside the campus, a huge playground. We have basketball courts also within our campus. Coming into our core strength, our team of the faculty members. I'm Jagannathan, the principal of the school since its inception. I have done my architecture from MIT Manipal, and my post-graduation in Town and Country Planning from Anna University, Chennai, and post-graduation in Construction Management from Nikmar, Pune. I done my PhD in the Vastu Shastra from the University of Madras. We have a very dedicated core team of faculty supported by architect Satyaprakash Varanashi. All the details of the faculty are there for you to display. We have a team. Architect Satyaprakash has a post-graduation in urban design from SPA Delhi and in conservation from the University York from the United Kingdom. Architect Satya is also a very well-known architect with a huge practice, focus closely into sustainable and eco-architectural projects. Shubhada Batina is a master's in building design from the Arizona University from the United States. Architect Chitali Babar is from CEPT Ahmedabad in specialization with theory and design. Priya Katavkar has a master's in habitat design from BMS Bangalore. Architect Shanmuga Prasad has his post-graduation in planning from CEPT Ahmedabad. We have architect Rupesh Kochare with his post-graduation in urban design from SPA Bhopal. Architect Aditi Patel with her specialization in conservation from SPA Bhopal. Architect Sauvya has a post-graduation in planning from CEPT. And we have architect Meera Vishwanath from SPA Delhi, a conservation architect, and Mithali Vavre, conservation architect from SPA Bhopal. Architect Arjun Shankar is from BMS Bangalore. We have a very well-knit, close team of architects who form a bouquet with different specialization and vast experience in their specialized fields and strong commitment to teaching. This team is supported by Mr. Ramesh Patel, an engineer, technical with his MTech in structures from MSRIT. And the key of all our team is Mr. Murli Gatti, an artist with his MFA from Baroda. He supports and facilitates the art part of our school. In our school, we give a lot of facility and importance into our details. Can I now request Mr. Dion to just present the YouTube from which all our faculty can be accessed, please? They will give a quick introduction of each of them.
I'll do that. I'll do that.
Observe, analyze, and derive the reason. There are many assignments evolved over my 33 years of involvement in academic study and School of Planning and Architecture. We just mentioned one or two. For example, a pickup a natural form is a reverse bird nest. A natural form is a coconut. It could be a mushroom. Then we try to understand how nature has designed it. So nature is an architect before the friend like architects. We may draw certain figures like these, not very clear, but anyway. So we try to understand few lines which are obvious and then on to abstraction and many more of this kind. I'm also involved in the urban design studio where we look at culturally rooted urban design, place-based urban design, and people behavior-based urban design. So urban design is not merely looking at some grand visions and certain kind of visual perceptions. As a thesis coordinator, we are attempting to shift not only doing problems solving projects, of course, we have to do them. We're also looking at thematic disease. We're also looking at shifting from the case study based to criteria study based. And there are many people who come and join case essay to hear more about them and experience.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Hello, I'm Assistant Professor Shankar Prasad, urban planner, heritage researcher, media artist, and architect practicing at the MS Architect Institute, Bangalore. I've been trained by architect Ravindra Kumar from Bangalore and architect Chandra Kishore from the Indian Conference. And I also work with UNESCO Network Foundation on various heritage-related projects. Hi guys, my name is Abhi. I did my specialization in architecture. Having lived in Brisbane, has given me a lot of experience and for that around. So I try to bring in the same question. Architecture basically leaves you with specialization in urban design. Manual architecture. Architecture design is just not designing of spaces. It's an experience that one undergoes to know the functionality of it.
I'll call you back.
So here in KSS in Bangalore, we encourage outdoor studios as a part of architectural design studio.
Yes, sir. You're on mute. You're on mute. You'll have to unmute yourself.
Sorry, that was about our faculty. I think now I'll leave it to Mr. Dion to have your DQ Labs question for the day.
Good evening, guys. So here's the first question for today. It's so I'll read out the question. Which of the following statements is true based on the given image? So the options are square A and B are of the same color. I hope you guys are able to see A and B there. Square A is darker than square B. Square B is darker than square A. And option D is none of the above. So your 30 seconds starts now. Okay, so I'll give the answer now. The answer is option A, where A and B both are of the same color. Okay, so there's a video and also a detailed explanation about this is based on the concept called as optical illusion. Okay, so I would suggest all of you all please read through and understand the concept, and you will also find a lot of videos regarding the same. So you'll understand the question and the concept better. Okay. Yes, sir. So over to Dion.
Sir, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So we will now go to the second part of our presentation, which I'm sure will be more interesting for the students again. No, the teaching approach, the pedagogical approach, and our vision. Our vision statement, as we say, we shall strive to build an architectural ecosystem that constantly evolves to be professionally relevant and socially sensitive. And our essential approach is to involve the students and create an interesting learning atmosphere for them. So we work on the three approaches of calling that we introduce, we inspire, and we facilitate the students to intellectualize the entire program they have come to learn. Now, in our mission statement, as I mentioned earlier, we are very conscious of our approach and we balance our entire approach. Though we are based on the VTU syllabus, we try to work it out to suit our mission of culturally relevant, climatically sensitive, and cost-wise conscious. In all exercise that we do, we facilitate this kind of a thinking approach to the students who come to study architecture in our school. Our teaching pedagogy, I'll go through this very quickly now for the appreciation of the students. Now, architecture being a 5-year program, in the first year, the exercise is about the process of unlearning or the relearning and skill development of the program of architecture. The students here are encouraged to discuss each other's projects. They bring their own individual backgrounds into the studios, and hence discussions have become wider and more interesting for them. And they have more personal participation in the process. We encourage observing, perceiving, and expressing, and then work on experimentation and research by exploring combinations of subjects and ideas to come up with the solutions for the suggested project. Once they reach that level, multiple small projects are introduced instead of large, big projects, so that at the initial level, the students don't get overwhelmed and they are able to have a better control of what they are learning. And the projects are not just designed to orient, but also to train in the act of learning. That is, the whole exercise is learning to learn. And we go from the known to unknown so that it doesn't overwhelm the student. That is, to proceeding from the known to the unknown areas so that there is no ambiguity, no confusion. This facilitates easier learning. Going into some of the projects that the students have done in our school, we can just move through this. Some of the projects that they have done and the various projects that they have been working on. We see how they have been working on the very complex projects, processes in a very simple manner, which excites them and involves them into the learning process. These are some of the sheets which were done by a first year student, and how they get into the learning from what they've done on a drawing sheet to they make it into an actual model so that they are able to perceive what they've been trying to work on it in a more efficient manner. These are some of the sheets which we've done. We see how the students are encouraged to actually sit and work hands-on so that they are able to understand and appreciate the exercise that they worked on. The second and third year are more on one-to-one discussions. The students discuss ideas and making of iterative changes to the design, different ideas from different teachers. Integrating design theories, understanding design thinking, introduction of articles and book reviews are encouraged. We have a very interesting and a good collection of books in our library, and a lot of magazines are also available as a part of our library, and the students are in the initial years helped go through the reading and facilitating of this. So the book reviews become a very important and integrated part of the whole learning process. Context understanding is exploring of understanding the site. Many times we take them to the site itself and they experience the site. And learning from experience, learning through dialogue, and using technology are some of the factors. One very interesting part that we've done in this level is the vertical studios. We've had this experiment worked out and it came out very interestingly, and the students found it to be a very good learning process. Here we see some of the projects where the students worked out and did the models of their projects, and we had been encouraging them to visualize their design by constructing these models, and through these exercises they come up with the sketches and drawings. Technical drawings are also explained through sketches, and blackboard is used. The faculty sketch on the board so that the students understand the details, and the students are then encouraged to convert those details into their designs into building forms, as you see in these examples. The fourth and fifth year become ownership years. Here we encourage panel discussions. There are jury discussions. We invite senior architects from the practicing field to come into the school, and they have detailed and jury discussions with the student. Understanding issues at an urban scale is worked upon, and overlapping analysis where various issues pertaining to the areas of cultural, climatic, economic, sustainable issues are looked at into this. Theoretical premises are worked on, starting with a research question, and zoning into personal interests where the students' interests lie and where they would like to progress into are encouraged, and the students are facilitated to work through those lines. And most importantly, we encourage and help students to manage their time. At the end of the day, in any profession, more so in the profession of architecture, time management is very critical. And here, this exposure helps the students to experience their future career options. So here we basically are encouraging the students to be on their own. As you see, the progression from the first year to the second and third year, that is a mid-level, to the final senior level, fourth and fifth year level, there is a progression. We are, if you notice, in the first year, we are kind of almost hand-holding the students. We facilitate into their inquiries. We encourage them to inquire. We inspire them to inquire. And at the middle level, they are allowed to experiment and analyze. And in the final year level, they are actually intellectualizing the process, what they've gone through. So the entire process helps the student to grow from the level from which they came in as a fresh mind into our school to a mature architect when they leave from our school. So when they do this, we work on complex forms. They make these models, try to understand these forms through the models at the higher levels, and we see how they can, models are made. History of architecture is understood through making detailed models. This is actually a model made by the students, and to understand the proportions, the details, how the various parts of a design process works into an overall build form, and how they can construct the furnitures using different materials, different parts and products into a product, and in the process also understand material. The students have done these kinds of exercises. They are encouraged in the interior design curriculum to work on simple furniture and how they could really make it hands-on. And yeah, at a higher level, they work on urban design projects. We see here an actual project where the students were working in the studio of an urban design exercise, where they have done a study of a part of the Bangalore city, a specific part, and they were asked to do the analysis and develop the project from that. And here we see how the detailing was going through. We see the process, you know, how from a very basic level, when the student came in the first year, they are able to even solve complex urban level projects in a very comfortable and a very safe and good environment. Everything is supported and the faculty are there behind them. At this level, the faculty step back and, you know, guide them through to what they want. Otherwise, we facilitate the students to inquire and intellectualize into the whole process. Now, why would a student want to come to the K School of Architecture? Now, what is it that we do that is different from other schools? Here in the K School of Architecture, we've been working on some of the few firsts, as I would say. We worked on what we call as this vertical studio. An entire semester was worked on this project. The fourth semesters and sixth semester studios teamed up to work on this campus planning. Essentially, the VTU syllabus suggests the fourth semester students work on housing, residential activities, and the sixth semester students are suggested to work on what we call as institutional projects. So we took up a campus design, and the fourth semester students were working on the residential part process of a campus, like the hostels, the faculty residences, and so on, other such facilities. Whereas the sixth semester students were working on the campus part, the academic part of the university. But the whole project was in the same site and in the same campus. So both the students were working together. And this helped the students. What happened was a team was made. 2 students from the fourth semester and 2 students from the sixth semester joined together, and they were working on the different parts. And at the end of the term, they were able to come up with a mutual learning team spirit, multiple ideas, and working with different teams, which is very, very important for an architect as a personal experience. So this was a very unique exercise we did. And finally, in fact, even for the final Viva, the students had to present it as a team. The students of the fourth semester and the sixth semester together had to present their project, because both of them had to work together, integrate the whole design together finally, and the Viva was conducted as a single project at the end of the semester. So this gave the students an opportunity to learn, and we always invite experienced practicing architects in that specific project line to come and review, discuss, and encourage the students to learn. So we've been having various senior architects coming in, and they can show and learn from their experiences. Discussions and debates happen in an open environment. The faculty, the architects are present, and the students are encouraged to present their works, and their queries are answered, and the students are also encouraged to make questions, so that the answers come from amongst them through the support of the faculty. We see here students making models so that they understand the three-dimensional impacts of the projects they work on, so they are able to improve their ability to visualize spaces eventually. The next, another first which we've done was a hands-on design studio. We worked with an NGO called Nivasa. It was a symbiotic relationship with an architectural NGO, enriched with experiences for students to understand holistic approach of village life. The student went and stayed in a village called Gulahalli for more than 10 days as 2 groups. Each group stayed for 10 days, with the faculty team also being with them and some support members from the NGO. and the designs were developed. The brief was given by the NGO through their research work in the villages, and they had come up with the requirement from that. And the students were also encouraged to do a door-to-door survey, and the survey was converted into a design program, and that design program came into a design solution. And in the whole process, the students were really hands-on, actually on site, and did this project. So it was a very, very interesting hands-on work. And they came back and they did the sketches, and they actually at this village itself, they were doing the sketches and trying to explain to the villagers. For example, they were required to do a small village primary school, and the students went to the primary school, spoke to the students what they wanted, made sketches for them on the boards, and explained to them and tried to understand from those kids what they really wanted, and thus developed their design. And not only that, the students were encouraged to actually do the construction of that project with the local material. The NGO had done a study, and they found that the local material was mud, and that was the most suitable material to do the construction over there. The students actually went and did a hands-on exercise. They starting from cleaning of the site to the actual construction work. So the interactive, hands-on learning of the design process has enriched the students' experience into coming up as a designer at the end of the day. We have also done what we call as a summer and winter schools during vacation times. We encourage the students to develop their technical skills. We've conducted Photoshop, the software Photoshop workshops, 3D Max and SketchUp workshops. Our artists supported them in training them into watercolor. Journalism workshops were conducted as an alternative direction of architects activities. And Lumion 3DX Max combination was also taught to them. We invited RATLab, a premier parametric organization based out of Delhi, to come and conduct a workshop for the students. In fact, it was open to students of other colleges also in the city, and those students were joining with them, and this 3-day workshop went as a very great learning process. We had students from other colleges from outside Bangalore also who joined this workshop. Generally, in our school, any such programs that are done, we open it out to the students of all the other schools and welcome everybody to come and do the learning. Now, these are some of the students' work, which was an output of this parametric design workshop. And we have had other experts coming in. Another major expertise experience the students were given was on rural living. Rural India forms a major part of the Indian economy, and we encourage the architects who will be coming out not just to be an urban-based architect. We also encourage them to understand the rural requirement, so that as architects, they can have an opportunity also to move out of urban centers and find a professional opportunity from those areas, which is very, very largely developing these days. Students have been taken to different villages over the years, and they went and stayed there, and they've been doing work. All this happens while learning is going on. There is also a lot of fun, and very relaxed, conducive environment is created for the students. Now, as you see in the photographs, it's a very flexi situation, and the students are interacting very closely, and the architects, the faculty are also very closely working with the students and the villagers around. This was a trip to Melkote, where they did a heritage study work, and they were taken on a walk, and they were trying to explore the traditional experiences of living in a heritage town. Any academic process involves evaluation, and evaluation in the university system is conducted through examination, semester end examination, and continuous evaluation of their projects through the semester. These are the two means which the university conducts for architecture. And we have always been trying to benchmark ourselves with the best schools across the country. And in the university, we try to compare ourselves with the best schools and benchmark and try to see how we can improve in our quality of imparting education for the students, and the learning process improves and our students perform well. The chart, for example, shows the first year students in the 2019-20 batch, sorry, the first semester, the results. Our school stands at a pass percentage at around 73%, and we have taken the comparison schools of different age groups. Like ours is a 5-year-old school. We've taken colleges under age groups of 5 to 10 years under category A, category B, 25 to 30-year-old colleges, category C, 10 to 12-year-old colleges, and so on. So if you see comparatively, some of the very old colleges of the city in the university, where they have got 76% pass, we are standing at around 73% of pass percentage. So we are continuously trying to evolve and improve the quality of our learning process, so that our students also perform well in their evaluation systems. These are the various parameters we have worked out as we keep comparing for the different semesters. And here we see the overall, comparative results. And whereas in the overall of the whole comparison, our college stands at around 69% total pass, and the best colleges stand at around 70%. So we are almost comparatively. However, no, we are not going to settle down at this. We are working at trying to achieve 100% results so that our students are all learning the best. So our effort has always been towards giving the best without putting too much of undue pressure on the students, making learning and pleasure. At the same time, the learning process is fully achieved. Now we'll break for a DQ Lab question session. Mr. Dion, to you, please. Mr. Dion?
Yes, sir, I'm online.
Yeah.
This is Meghna here. Yeah.
The question.
Okay, guys, the next question for today. Below is a pattern created by repeating sets of lines. Identify the configuration of lines from which it can be created without any lines overlapping from the options given below. So your time of 30 seconds starts now. Time up. So the correct answer is option A, only C and D. Okay, so I'll quickly brief you as to how, what method you can use. Generally, when you're doing these kind of visual questions, elimination method is very prominently used, okay? Because it's really confusing. If you see the image, you can find the cubes in them, and you can also see the diamond shape. So it's confusing at times, right? So they've clearly mentioned in the question that the lines should not overlap with each other, right? So out of the given options, if you take option B, only A and B, definitely the diamond and the cube will have to overlap at one point. So that's ruled out. B and D also, the lines of the diamond, okay, those diagonal lines will overlap, and only C will not give you the resulting cubes that you can see in the image. So once you eliminate option B, C, and D, you're left with option A. I hope that was helpful. So let's wait for the next question. So over to you.
Okay, thank you. So we are here in the final part, the part 3. we here talk very quickly about the talks we've had, the trips, the extracurricular essential activities. Uh, the college organizes what we call as Alochana. Every working Saturday, we invite an expert into our campus and they give a talk. There are workshops, there are sessions happening, and we have different experts, not only from architecture, from art, from different points, public views, where they come and express their opinions and students interact with them. This enriches the experiences of the students. This was one of the inaugural sessions. In fact, we had Mr. Umesh also in one of the sessions presenting about the topic of design during our talks over here of DQ labs. And no, we had some senior architects coming in, and they've been speaking to the students about their design philosophies and design approaches, and discussions and debates have been happening from not only in Bangalore. Architects from outside Bangalore are also invited whenever they are passing across the city, or sometimes they are especially invited to address our students on different issues of various issues. So we've had different kinds of way talks. Varna is an annual fest we conduct. This is a festival of colors, as they call the name itself suggests, Varna. And we have various activities for the students, encouraging them to do various kinds of different arts. In fact, for one of the sessions, we teamed up with Shantiniketan, the very famous art university in Bengal. They came, the senior faculty team from there came in over here, conducted hands-on workshops and training for the students in different art forms, starting from glass painting to mask making to even fabric making. So different kinds of activities were facilitated, and the students learned through their hands-on experience. These are some of the projects which they did. You see on the screen the fabric woven by the students which came up, and the different activities that were there. And part of these activities, we've had again various architects coming in and speaking out over here in our campus to the students, different experts from Mr. Jay Tucker, you see him here, he's been addressing our students, and we've been having various such activities. Study trip is a part of the syllabus also, which encourages the students to learn hands-on. Students have been taken on North India trip. They went to Sri Lanka, went on Eastern India trip. They've also visited the very famous Chettinad district of village in Athankudi. We've been going to Thiruvananthapuram every year, going into the Laurie Baker Foundation, having hands-on workshop and training by the students out over there. We can see some of the pictures. We will quickly move through them. This was a walk at Sri Rangam, where the students were taken for a walk, trying to understand the history of architecture and how the temple town was planned and developed. And we can see the various discussions that keep happening out over there. They went on the trip to the Brihadishwara temple at Tanjavur. This was a part of the history of architecture study trip, and they were taken to different parts. This was the Sri Lanka. The trip during their Sri Lanka, there are various activities. They go and learn the proportions, the sketch, the materials, different kinds of activities. The Laurie Baker Foundation, where the students were learning hands-on construction activity. So the students actually sit and build over there, and these activities which they are experiencing there is also brought back into their design studios. So this is the very famous the Cochin Biennale. The students also visited the Biennale and experienced the various works out over there. We also do a lot of documentation exercise, because the documentation exercise actually really helps the students to learn. It's a hands-on process. In documentation, what you really do is go to an existing, preferably a historic building, and actually measure the building and make a drawing of that exercise. So we have undertaken documentations at Melakote, Hanchialli village, we went to a village called Puttur. Athankudi village in Chettinad was a very interesting study. We actually stayed in the heritage house itself almost and learned the whole process. You can see some of the pictures. This is the Athankudi, the heritage house, where the students actually stayed there for about almost a week, and they did the measured drawing of almost every part of the house. The detailed drawings were prepared and the presentations were made. We invited a team of architects to come and review the design and give them a comment on the kind of work they finally did. This was the Athankudi tile, the famous Athankudi tile factory, where the students went in to see and understand how the tile is actually made. The Hanchialli village discussions, where the students were trying to understand and observe through sketching and interaction with the villagers. Design walks are also undertaken. We take the students to different, again, heritage areas of the city, or we work with Intact, go on a heritage walk with them, go to Lal Bagh Gardens as a part of their landscape course, and do all these kinds of urban design walks, five senses walks, and the various activities that are done through them, and the learning process happens. So this is it's always a learning through experience. The students actually go to the places, the architects are there with them, and the learning happens. I think now we can break the final last session of the presentation for the.
Okay, guys, next question. A square prism is divided into two irregular parts. If one part is shown below, which of the following correctly indicates the other part? Option A, B, C, D. Oh, I'm so sorry. I think there's an error in the question. It should be a square. Oh, yeah, it's prism. Sorry. Please go ahead. Okay, time's up. The answer is option D. Okay, so there's always a confusion between prisms and pyramids. Okay, so just read through and understand the difference between them. So when they ask geometric questions about merging or dividing the objects and stuff like that, so you should have a clarity as to what the objects are called, so it's easy for you to visualize them, because not in all cases you will have visual picture related questions. Okay, so like we've already discussed, like platonic solids and these kind of solids which are named, always make sure to read about them. It'll be really helpful. Okay, yes sir, over to you.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll now go to our final part of the presentation. We have a lot of allied activities in our school. One of the pioneering concepts that we've developed in our school is what we call as this natural forms museum. All the faculty, the students, and visiting architects, whoever comes into our campus, we request them and encourage them to collect any natural form that they pick up, during their trips and visits and stuff like that. And these are collected and stored in a very nice way in our, a specific room, which we call as the Natural Forms Museum. And the students go in and they look at these forms, and they get inspired from these forms to develop their design themes and concepts, and from this they can work into their design processes. Apart from this, design teaching is like any professional program, like how a doctor needs to be on the ground to teach medicine to his students. Likewise, an architect also needs to be on the ground so that he will be abreast of the latest developments and situations in the field. towards this, the School of Architecture has also set up what we call as the KS Center for Habitat and Design Research. It's a consultancy center where we encourage faculty to take up consultancy projects. In the process, the faculty get a hands-on experience which they will translate into the studios for the students to learn. Also, the students also get an opportunity to work in the consultancy center, and they will be able to get a hands-on experience and exposure too. This is one of our opportunities. And we have also set up what we call as a case center for culture, art, and heritage. And in this, we do a lot of documentation activities. Our focus is on learning and developing the knowledge of tradition and culture, murals, paintings, sculpture, arts and crafts, doing documentation work, taking up conservation projects, restoration projects of heritage structures, both tangible and intangible. So these are some of the activities that we do. And also we have undertaken, in association with the Council of Architecture, what we call as a faculty training program. We have taken specialized subjects like designing for children, climatic design, and subjects like that, and brought in experts from different parts of the country and conducted training programs for faculty coming from different parts, different schools of the country, and they all benefited and go back with very, very pleasant experience to teach. The school also comes up. This is an initiative completely by the students, of course, guided by the faculty wherever they need them. The newsletter comes in and the students make them. It's an e-paper, so that we are also again sensitive with the environment, and it is always distributed to all their friends and contacts through the email. Students are also facilitated to take care of good health. Yoga is facilitated for them. Students perform. Architecture is a very demanding program, and to keep yourselves healthy and fit is very important. And we encourage and facilitate students to get into yoga so that they are healthy, and also we also encourage them to get into different sports activities as a part of their health management process. We've also had international experts visiting into our campus. We've done one exercise with, along with the National Institute of Rural Development. We had a team from different countries in African region. They came in over here, had an interaction with our faculty and students. And this was a very interesting exercise, and the students also had an exposure of how other third world countries especially are developing, and it gives them a contact and opportunity to build up their careers. And to finally end with, that's our family, our almost all our students, all our faculty team, and all of you hopefully soon will be a part of this team very soon. So I think with that, we close with the last question of the DQ Labs, and our presentation will conclude. We can open up after this DQ Lab questions for any queries from the students who are participating.
So the last question for today. A platonic solid has all faces congruent. Given below is one face of a platonic solid. Faces of this solid need to create 6 vertices and 12 edges. Visualizing this solid, count the total number of triangles visible on all the faces. The options are 18, 152, 19, and 216. So your time starts now. Okay, time up. The answer is option B, 152. So the method generally, the smarter way of answering these kind of questions is, so if you have studied on Platonic solids, the resulting figure or the solid that they've mentioned here would be an octahedron, which has 8 faces. Okay, 8 faces of equilateral triangles as seen in the figure. So you'll have to count the number of triangles that you can see here on the given figure, which would total up to 19. Okay, and then you have to multiply it with 8 to get the answer. Please, if you are not aware of it, please do read about it and get to know Platonic solids, because that's very commonly asked when it comes to visual questions. Okay, so over to you.
Yeah, over to Mr. Dion.
Yes.
The presentation is over. If there are any queries, we are open to answering them.
All right, all right. Meghna, thank you so much for us for addressing the questions there. Now over to everyone. Um, yeah, so would y'all like to, if y'all have any questions that y'all would like to answer uh, during this, like answered by the professor, you could ask your questions right away, right? Um, but interesting presentation. Um, I think the general questions that a lot of people have is regarding the cutoffs that are required for students to come into your school. For example, um, if you probably go by last year's, maybe the round one cutoff in CET,
Yeah.
all right. Either the round one cutoff in CET or the round one cutoff in Comet K. What was the kind of approximate rank that they should look at?
Yeah, see, to start with, let me put it this way, to answer this question, no, in our school, we are very open. We want to encourage students who are interested in studying to come in first. And no, that has been the philosophy of our management, as I said right in the beginning. And no, the idea is to facilitate. So, we have also been suggested by our management that don't be very rigid, sir. Of course, we get very bright student with 85, 90% mark. We are very happy to take them in. But then, when we have a student with say 60% or so, we wouldn't say we'll not turn them back, because there is a different process, because architecture learning is more lateral thinking, whereas till the last 12 years of their learning, students, because of our education system, were exposed to what we call as very, a straight jacket learning process. Now, many students might not have been very comfortable in that, and because of which they might not have scored fantastic scores. So we give the opportunity to the students who have not got great scores. We say we are open even to a 60%, 65% student. We are very open, welcome, as long as the student shows the aptitude. So the NATA scores make a difference out over there. And well, we don't mind. In fact, last time our first round of cutoff, we were open to taking students even in around 700, 750 ranks.
That's in CET, is it?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So yeah, and but then the point is that no, as I said, no, we put complete support and encouragement and inspirations for the students so that they come out as a brilliant architect at the end of the day.
All right, all right. So right. So the next set of questions is related to the fee structure. All right. What is the fee structure if they get in through CET or Comet K or say a management seat?
Yeah, as for the CET and Comet K, it's already fixed. Last year, the CET fees, no, with all inclusive was coming to around 90,000 and odd. I think it should remain the same, because the directions are given by the government in that. And the Comet K CET fees was also coming to some 2.5 lakhs. Now, again, in a management seat, we are flexible. Our management, being a very society-oriented organization, no, they are no more focused on supporting the middle class. They don't look at no money as the sole criteria. There's a lot of support for funding coming through the management for the institution. So the fees is kept very nominal. In fact, we are open to offering the seats, even the management seats at the Comet K fees itself. If the students have good scores, the management even looks at giving scholarships. This can be discussed with our management, and the fees will be facilitated accordingly.
All right, all right. So we have a question here from Sandra Lal, who's asking the KCT ranking we discussed was about 750 rank in round one. What about the Comet K cutoff rank? Just to give us an idea, would you have an idea about that?
Comet K cutoff rank was also in around that range, 800, 750, 800 range. It was, that is what it was, the range, our
All
last
right,
cutoff. Yeah.
all right, all right. Now we have some questions here regarding is Comet K considered sorry, is JEE exam considered? The answer is yes. JEE paper 2 is considered, whether you're applying through CET or Comet K or directly to the college. And this is a standard answer to any school that you refer to in India, other than the SPAs and NITs. Um, the Comet K, sorry, the JEE paper 2 scores are accepted. Uh, you could use that interchangeably with the NATA score. They will see which one is better, and based on that, they will give you your rank.
That's right.
However, um, for the SPAs and NITs, it is only through JEE paper 2. Okay, coming to some more questions. How many seats are there for CET? Through CET, how many seats through CET, how many through Comment K, and how many through management total?
See, as I said, we are a 40 intake college, and we've consciously kept it at that because, as you know, we started in 2015, and we wanted to give a very close focus for the students. So, in the 40 intake, about 18 seats go for CET, the government quota, 12 seats go to Comet K, and the remaining 10 seats are in the management quota. So, but then we've taken a very conscious stand to keep the intake at 40 because this helps us to closely interact with the students, support them, facilitate them, and encourage them.
All right, all right. And the next set of question is regarding transport facilities. All right. Uh, do you all have transport facilities
Yes.
from say around Bangalore?
Yes. Our college, we do have college buses flying from the college to different parts of the city. Students are picked up and dropped back in the morning and evening. The facility is very much available. And the buses are going all over the city.
All right,
Different routes. We have about some 15 to 18 routes in the city. Yes.
all right. Fantastic. Um, right. The next thing is, do you all have a hostel, and what would be the hostel fee?
Yes, as I made in the presentation itself, we have a very good hostel facility within the campus. We have a separate facility for boys and a separate hostel facility for girls. And no, the boys' hostel, for example, no, it's a two-seater room with every room has an attached bathroom and a excellent facility. The hostel also has a very well-equipped dining hall with state-of-art cooking equipment, which food is prepared in a very hygienic manner, and quality food is served for the students. Also, we have a gymnasium, a leisure rooms, indoor activities, all those part of the hostel itself.
All right.
Now, yeah, the facility comes to around last year. The hostel fees, including the annual food bill, was coming to around some 80,000 rupees.
All right. All right. Cool. Now the next set of questions is regarding the college timings. All right. What are your college timings in general?
In general, we work, the college sessions start at 8:05 in the morning and by around 4 in the evening. But normally for an architecture college, no, it's only the starting time that counts. The closing time is left open to the students. The college is open 24/7, and we facilitate and encourage students, especially, as you saw in one of the slides, they were doing a model or a drawing which was almost, 25 feet long. Now, when such a kind of a project exercise is being done, it's impossible for the students to go home and do it and bring it. No, it doesn't work. And in the process, it will get damaged. And so students sit back in the college and work, late into the evening or sometimes into the night. The security facility is there. We have the whole campus is covered with CCTV cameras, and security is also available. And of course, since the hostel is also within the campus is a live campus, so it doesn't really matter. The officially, of course, working time can be called as 8:30 to 4, but then we start, yes, at 8:30. Classes start at 8:45. After that, it depends on the students when they want to go.
All right. All right. And I think there's a final question from Abhinav. Now, Abhinav has scored a 98.44 percentile in JEE paper 2, the
Yeah.
January 1. Now, he's saying if he first gets in through Comet K and then later in the subsequent rounds gets in through the CET, uh, would it would he be able to give up the Comet K seat and come in through CET?
Yes, that facility is there. No, because in fact, CET, that's what they also do. No, they have the first round, second round, third round. All those facilities are there. The government provides those facilities. So yeah, even if he gets a Comet K, allotment, if he subsequently gets a CET allotment, he can always choose to go in for the CET allotment,
All
provided he gets it in the college of his choice. No, that is one hit.
all So that means the fee that he's paid through CET, would that be kind of refunded or?
Normally, yes, but they have some time frame for that. Within
Okay.
that period of time, the whole process has to be completed by the candidate.
All,
Yes, but
all
the
right.
college will not know that information, so it will be with the CET cell and the Comet K, center. So that has to be done by the candidate within that time frame. Otherwise, it could get a little complicated.
All right. So similar question by Aishwarya, but she's saying if or in case someone takes a management seat and then gets in through CT, would the same process happen?
It
Would
could, yeah, why not? No, at
Okay.
least in our college, we are open. We are not, no, so rigid about it. We
Yeah.
don't mind, but then normally, like you know the directions how it moves, right? So,
Yeah.
we take that.
All right. All right. Right. So good. So I think we've covered all the questions.
Yeah.
And if there's any more questions that students have, what number can they connect with? Is there any specific phone number?
Yeah. See, these are the numbers. No, the previous numbers are. Yeah, so this is our college number. If they want any more details, they can get in through us for about the college, about the academic, all these details from this number 734-893-9933. So that is about our campus and other details. And regarding our admissions, no, they can get in through our secretary, his mobile number, or our PRO. Even his mobile number is there. And of course, the college number was also there available for you. And yeah, our CET code and Comet K code is also mentioned here. So students can always approach us. We are open.
All right. And so, assuming that we're assuming now that your admission process has started, has it?
Yes, yes. We have already started. Yes.
Okay.
A
So,
lot of inquiries have already come in. Yes, people
all
have
right. So,
come.
subject to the student clearing NATA.
That's right.
All
Exactly.
right. All right. Fantastic. Sir, it's been a pleasure having you here. I think a very interesting presentation. We've got some good feedback about it as well. So thank you so much for taking the time out to come over here and talk to the students and students who are participating in this. And just so you know, maybe if I could share my screen for a minute.
Sure.
Yeah. Um, so just a second. Yeah. So there is the NATA 2020 new pattern 5 questions every day during this series of the e-meet. So please come and attend the e-meets. If you want the answers with the explanations, you can go on to edge.dqlabs.in. Let me try and hold on. Yeah, edge.dqlabs.in, and click on this NATA 2020. Sorry, select the course NATA 2020 new pattern. You'll find 12 free sample questions. You'll find 501 questions. So these 501 questions will be 25 questions per day into 20 sessions. So that's how you'll get 501 questions. And there'll be 45 minutes of a live interaction class each day, so that uh, you understand how those questions have been solved. All right. So really good stuff happening here. If you've if you want to be notified, please follow us on our webinar or our YouTube channel. That'll be the best place for you to get the updates. Also register with us. If Rohit could share the registration link, so we send you an email and an SMS, so that way you'll get updated on all our activities. And yeah, so looking forward to y'all following us and interacting and making having a beautiful career ahead. All right. Thank you, Professor Jagannath, and your entire team that's been supporting you. Um, and looking forward to a lot more interaction. You're on mute, by the way.
Thank you, Mr. Dion, from my side, from the K School of Architecture, our team of faculty and our management for invited us to present and share our experience with you and your students.
All
And
right.
thank you to you, Mr. Rumesh, and your whole team for having given this opportunity. Thank you
Right.
very much.
Thanks a lot.
And best wishes for all your students.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you.